Hey guys, Tiffany Ofili Porter here, where I discuss all things life after sport. In this video, it's going to be a quick relationship and dating advice video with a twist. It's going to be a reaction to the wildly popular YouTube game show called Pop Your Baloon or Find Love, featuring Arlette Amuli. And I don't know if you guys have ever seen this game show, but it is so captivating. I was up until midnight last night watching it, but essentially single people come on this show and they are presented with a series of potential suitors. They have a balloon, and the whole point of the show is to match them up. You pop the balloon if you're not liking the person, and you keep the balloon inflated if you do. That's the general premise of it. But this particular episode that I watched has garnered 2.6 million views, and essentially all of the episodes in this series have a similar response. I'm gonna put a link to the actual video down for you guys to check it out, and I will probably refer to a few clips in this video as we are having the conversation. Now, even though it is a game show, I kind of look at it as like a really cool social experiment. And I got some takeaways that I think will be extremely useful. As someone who has been with my husband for 19 years, married for 13, and I have two older brothers that put me up on game very early on about relationships, I do think I have some useful insight to offer in this conversation. And I'm going to use the Pop Your Baloon Find Love game show as just an interesting case study to kind of push that conversation forward. So let's just go ahead and jump right into some of the takeaways that I got from watching this game show.
With medals on her chest, she's proven her greatness, knows no rest, representing the countries with pride she stands.
Number one, it's gonna sound a little bit superficial, maybe even shallow to some, but I think it needs to be discussed that first impressions are so important, and it's okay to prioritize your appearance. Now, we've all heard before that you only have one chance to make a first impression, and whether it's good or bad, you kind of have to work double time to kind of change someone's impression of you after you have that initial interaction. And the game show that I watched was just the perfect illustration of this. Some of the people came out before they even finished getting to their section or even opening their mouth. You found some balloons that are popped.
What's your name?
Myowa.
Myowa, how old are you?
I am 32.
32. Okay. And what do you do?
I am a business owner of 7 years. I'm a lash instructor.
Okay. All right.
Because first impressions matter. Now, it's important to know what suits you and your body type, or what is going to be flattering to you and what you feel confident and comfortable in, because that's going to exude throughout all of your interactions, whether it's a first date, whether it's a game show like what I was watching, whether it's an interview, whether it is just a first time that you're meeting a new friend. But those first impressions really do matter. And I just want us to get away from the narrative that you are superficial or vain, even if you take a little bit of extra time to make sure that you feel well put together, or that you just have no substance or no depth. If you say, no, it is important for me to look good. When I was running track professionally, I was one of those people who always said, you look good, you feel good, you can perform good, you can perform well. And that's true not only as an athlete, but also in dating. So seeing some of the reactions on this show really reinforced that, having that first impression, capitalizing on that opportunity to go out there and make that first impression will not be in vain. It really does matter. And with that, I would encourage folks to kind of think about what impression you want to give off, okay? Now, clothes are an opportunity to express yourself, an opportunity to accentuate certain features, to cover up certain features, or just to be used as a tool to give that first impression. So in the show yesterday, for instance, there was this guy that came on with this really crazy suit.
Hello, welcome in. Can I have your name?
My name is Moan.
Maul?
Moan, like make
Moan?
you moan. Yeah. Moan.
Okay, and how old are you?
And he seemed like a nice guy. He was actually, by normal standards would be considered an attractive guy, but based off of what he was wearing, people made a lot of assumptions about him. So I am one of those people who believes that you can use fashion and your style as a tool to kind of express yourself and show your individuality and your uniqueness. But sometimes when you are dating and you're meeting somebody for the first time, it might be prudent to kind of err on the side of caution and just be a little bit more reserved or a little bit more, I guess, vanilla in your style choices, just so you can cater to more people and that you could even have that opportunity to have a second date or a second interaction. I mean, if you want to make a statement with your outfit or with your accessories or with your makeup or your hair or your shoes or whatever, I think that's a great opportunity to do so, because some people might even use that as a tool to weed out people that you're not interested in. If somebody hates tattoos, for instance, it might be a good idea for you to show off the tattoos on the first date, so we don't have to waste our time going to a second date where you tell me that you hate tattoos and I have a whole arm sleeve. So there has to be a balance between what makes you comfortable and what makes the other person comfortable at the same time. Number two, with the game show, a lot of the point of it is that the host, Arlette, will go to the person and ask them, hey, why did you pop your balloon, or why did you not pop your balloon? And it leads to a very interesting dialogue. I think it kind of taps into human psychology. It taps into first impressions. It taps into just the communication style of the person. It's just a very captivating show, y'all. You actually have to check it out. It's an hour and a half long, but I was glued. And in fact, I was up until past 1 o'clock in the morning watching this show, but I digress. So with those dialogues that happen, a lot of times people are like, yo, I popped because I wasn't feeling your shoes, I wasn't feeling your responses, I wasn't, whatever it is. But the thing that I just appreciated so much about this episode is that a lot of the people most of the people, in fact, were being very, very respectful. There's no need to be rude. There's no need to berate the person or belittle the person or talk down about the person. You can just say, you weren't my cup of tea, or that's not really my style, that's not my taste, that's not my preference, and be extremely respectful in your delivery. Now, I think this is important to kind of think about when you're dating, when you're in a relationship, whether that's platonic, work, co-workers, or whatever that relationship looks like, because respect is just so important. It's paramount, okay? And sometimes people mistake, oh, I'm direct, I'm honest, I don't beat around the bush, with being rude. You can get your point across, because I consider myself an extremely direct person, but I think most of the people in my life would agree that I'm not rude in my delivery or in my approach. And you don't need to be. You can tell somebody how you feel in a very direct and honest and candid way without being rude. So that was a key takeaway also from the Pop Your Balloon or Find Love game show that I really enjoyed, was that through all of this very kind of awkward but very interesting correspondence between these individuals, they were respectful and they were mindful of the other person involved. And there were a lot of matches made despite some differences, despite, some conflict at the end, because everybody kept it very respectful. So just keep that in mind when you're on that first date, when you're trying to make that amazing first impression that we talked about, that regardless of what you might feel, even if it's different from what the other person feels, be respectful. There's no need to be rude. Another key lesson that I really found fascinating from this game show was that it is so important for single people and just even married people, just people in general, to identify what your preferences are, what your type is, and what your deal breakers are, okay? Now, on the show, one of the very common themes is this person your type? And it was interesting. You will find some people say, no, he's not my type. I don't like this kind of person. I don't like that kind of person. And then there are some people who just wouldn't even have an opinion and say, I don't have a type. It's whatever, it's whatever. And I think there has to be a balance somewhere in the middle between those two people, okay? There's nothing wrong with saying this would be my ideal, body type, skin tone, religion, beliefs, values, whatever, because I do think it's important to have preferences and standards, because I'll get into it later in this video, but finding your spouse or your life partner is such a huge decision that it's okay to have a list of things that are kind of your non-negotiables. But with that, I do think there needs to be some flexibility and some room for adaptability in that, because when you really think about it, Nobody's going to be 100% of everything that you need 100% of the time, okay? Now, you can have some things that you just are not negotiating on, and that's okay. That's your prerogative. In fact, I think that might have to actually be a useful skill to do before you get into the dating pool and really figure out what it is that you do and don't like. But in that, have some flexibility. If you like somebody that's only 6'2" and above, if you're a woman looking for a man, so what happens if he's 5'11", but he checks off all the other boxes? Are you just going to completely write this man off because of those 3 inches? And some people might say, yes, that's their hard, fast, non-negotiable. Some people would say no. But whatever it looks like for you, I do think it is important to take the time, figure out what those preferences are, stand in them, be okay with them, but also acknowledge that there will be some flexibility in that. So a lot of the people on the show that did get matched up as the episode progressed were the people that said, you know what, I might not necessarily have gone for this person, but I'm very interested based off of the responses, based off of your energy, based off of how you carry yourself to see where this can go. So you might be blocking your blessing because you're too rigid, but you also might be blocking your blessing because you don't even have a list at all. So somewhere in the middle, I do think it is important to identify what it is that you want in a future partner. Another key takeaway from this game show is that it is important to be okay with rejection. A lot of times, especially in dating, rejection can be room for redirection, okay? And I know that might sound cliche, and it's not only true in dating, it's actually just true in life, but we're talking about dating and in relationships in this particular video. But somebody might have popped a balloon because they didn't like, I don't even know, the way that your sister locks are. You're not changing your sister locks. You know that they're important to you, so they actually indirectly did you a favor. Let's not even waste each other's time. Finding a partner is such a huge life choice that kind of affects every single aspect of your life. Arguably, to me, other than your faith walk, I can't even see something that's more important than, the partner that you choose to spend your life with, because it makes such a difference in the trajectory of your life. So with that, you have to be relentless in your pursuit of finding that partner. Now, everybody's timeline is different. And I know some of my single sisters might be like, girl, you just got lucky. You found your spouse in college and, it's hard out here. And I understand that. I get it. And I just really want to acknowledge that I understand that everybody's path is different. So that definitely does need to be acknowledged. However, it's important to acknowledge that you're not going to be everybody's cup of tea, and that is okay. In fact, it's probably preferable. You want somebody that's going to be so excited about you and what you have to offer and just embrace you in your fullness than somebody that's like, I'm just kind of settling. I don't really like her or him that much, but it's okay. No, identify what it is that you want. And if something's not working, kind of acknowledge it, nip it in the bud before things kind of progress too far. And there is just no need to waste time when you are trying to date somebody. So I would encourage my friends out there that when you are dating, I would kind of reframe your perspective and take the proverbial popped balloon as a favor done for you, so you can kind of channel your energy, your efforts into finding somebody that's going to be crazy about you and just embrace you in your fullness. Another key lesson that I took away from this game show is that looks and physical attraction are incredibly subjective. There was a woman that came out. She was beautiful, in my opinion, from top to bottom. She was tall. She carried herself well. And as soon as she came out, she had like 4 balloon pops immediately. And I was like, okay, I definitely need to follow this along and kind of see what this was about, because to most, it would have been a no-brainer. Keep your balloons inflated.
Priest 33, hey, you look like a black Barbie doll.
Thank you.
I ain't got enough money to afford you.
Woo. Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Boy, thank you.
Yeah, I go broke. Boy, I need 4-5 jobs to make you happy. Boy, you got some pretty toes too. Yeah, no.
But one guy to this very beautiful woman said, "You're too beautiful. You're too well put together. You're gonna make me go broke trying to help you maintain this look." And I was like, wow, imagine this guy is saying that you're too well put together, which to most people would be a huge plus, but to him, it was a negative. He popped his balloon, he said his piece, they kept him moving. So again, extremely subjective. The next person said, oh, your, midriff, it's a little bit too see-through. I'm a Christian. That doesn't really align with my views. And again, I respect that. I'm a Christian. I get it.
My name is Reginald. I'm 33 years old. I pop my balloon because I can see through your shirt.
Through the bottom of it? Yeah, not the nipples though.
Yeah, I can see through it. For me, that's just a little too much. I don't wear this cross just for any reason.
Absolutely.
And so, yeah, it's just, I'm not feeling it.
I respect it.
Appreciate you.
Now, me personally, I thought the top was extremely appropriate. I'm going to go ahead and insert the video so you can kind of see exactly what I'm talking about. Heck, I may have even worn the outfit myself personally, but to him, that was just not okay. He popped his balloon, he said his piece, he moved on. Again, extremely subjective. Somebody else might be like, oh my goodness, she puts it together so well. I love this. She's stylish, blah, blah, blah. But it was just a no for him. Another guy, the woman probably, if I had to guess, probably was about 5'9", 5'10", with heels. He said, nah, she's too tall. Again, extremely subjective.
I don't know, it was just a problem with dating taller women in the past, so that's the only thing for me. I mean, very beautiful, but for me, there just seemed to be a stigma around dating taller women.
For him, he was a shorter guy, and he probably looked at it as, this is not my cup of tea. Some other man may have looked at it as a huge plus. So that woman, her beauty was not diminished. Her fashion sense was not diminished. Her height was not diminished. And all of these things that could be positives to other people were negatives to somebody else. But just because they couldn't see the beauty or the, I guess, positivity in what she had to offer, they popped their balloons, and that just meant that they weren't the ones for her. And I think that's just kind of poetic. It's a metaphor that just because somebody doesn't appreciate where you are, or what you have to offer, or what you can bring to that proverbial table does not take away from your worth. Somebody's gonna find a lot of benefit, a lot of use, a lot of beauty in what you are and who you are, and just stand firm in that and trust that at the end of the day, it's going to happen. Even if it's not this person, or this person, somebody out there will appreciate you for who you are and what you can offer. Another key thing that I took away from the Pop Your Balloon or Find Love Challenge game show is the beauty of knowing what questions to ask and actively listening to the person's response. Now, this, obviously it's a game show, so you can't get somebody's deepest and darkest secrets from a 15-second interaction, but there is parallels to real life in a sense that when you're on that date, when you're on that interview, when you're meeting up with this person for the first time, ask those questions. Try to kind of get a little bit deeper to really feel the person and who they are in their true essence. And when they're talking, listen. Don't just have your preconceived notions of this person or your misconceptions of this person kind of color your vision. Actively listen to what they're saying, because a lot of times, if you listen well, people will tell you who they are, what they value, what they view as important, and it's just a matter of you receiving it or rejecting it, and just being honest in that. So when people go on first dates, they want to be all cutesy and not really show who they are. And I have never been one of those people. I have always, even from at 17 when I met my husband to now at 36 and a half years old, I have always stood firm in who I am. And I genuinely believe the people that love me, I will attract them. The people that don't fool with me, they will not be attracted to me, and that is okay. Like I mentioned before, you're not going to be everyone's cup of tea. Stand firmly and boldly in that and be okay with it. So when you are asking those questions, you might not necessarily like the answers that you're given, but that can be a huge plus in the long run, because you might just say, this is not even worth us pursuing a second date. Let's not waste our time. Much better for you to nip it in the bud after date one than to do it 9 years later, where you've wasted years and effort and time on this relationship that wasn't ultimately going to lead to anything. One last takeaway that I got from this show is that confidence can be felt pretty quickly. As soon as some of these contestants walked to the stage to kind of meet their eligible suitors, you could tell who was extremely nervous, who really was confident in themselves, who had an air of just self-assuredness that that's palpable. You could really tell. I mean, and I'm sure the guys or the gals lined up in these shows could feel it as well. I do know that sometimes people lack confidence and sometimes people need to work up their confidence, and that's okay. I think it goes back to that introspection and just really identifying, okay, you know what? I don't feel really confident. I maybe need to lose a couple pounds. I maybe need to eat healthier. I need to clear my skin up. I need to drink more water. I need to sleep better. Whatever you need to do to make you feel like your best self, I think that work needs to be done behind closed doors. So when you do present yourself on that first date or on that interview or wherever you're presenting yourself, you feel the most confident to go out there and make a good first impression and to just see what that person has to offer on the other side. So I do think there is a difference between confidence and arrogance, because some people really tiptoe on that line, but you can be confident and stand firm and boldly in who you are without being brash or aggressive or arrogant or just, not being fun and pleasant to be around. So finding that balance is definitely key. Confidence can be felt. Confidence makes you look better. Confidence elevates your appearance. It elevates your presence. It elevates your energy. It just makes you a more fun person to be around. So doing the work in the back, behind closed doors, to make yourself feel confident, to allow yourself to be presented in your best light is going to be useful not only for you, but also the person that you're trying to court or trying to date. And I just really enjoyed watching this game show, you guys, if you can't tell. It was very interesting. I think it's an amazing conversation starter. I think it's a very interesting case study to life, relationships, dating. And I would love to know down in the comments your thoughts on this conversation. If you've ever checked out any of the Pop Your Baloon Find Love game show episodes, let me know down in the comments. And if you would be interested in me doing a part 2 to this, maybe doing a reaction to a different episode in the series, I would be happy to do that as well. So if you like videos like this, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe to join the family. We do relationships on this page. We do sister locks, we do marriage, we do motherhood, we do vlogs. We just do a little bit of everything to demystify what life after sport looks like. And if that sounds interesting to you, make sure that you join the family. So thank you so much for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I will see you guys in the next one. Peace.